We are live. How about you, everybody? Welcome into this week's edition of the Auburn Live Recruiting Call-In Show. I'm your host, Jeffrey Lee, Senior Recruiting Editor for Auburn Live on 3. And if you're not a member of that site, man, believe it or not, you really should be. If you love this show, if you love the Shrivel Pod on Thursdays, it's just a fraction of the information and the access that you have to all the Auburn recruiting intel, team stuff, basketball, everything, man. We've got it all. And it's only for $1 for the entire year right now. So look over at Auburn Live on 3. Get signed up for an annual subscription, $1 for an entire year. And you won't be disappointed. I promise you. Hold me to it. Hold me to it. So tonight, we're going to get straight to the phones. We're going to try to answer all your questions. And here to help me do so is Mr. Jhead and Mr. Cole Pinkston. Jhead, how are you, big dog?
I'm doing fantastic, brother. Fantastic. Glad to be here. As promised, Shaka Jack, I'm not wearing a hat tonight. My two cohorts are, but let's talk some recruiting, guys.
Let's do it. Cole, how about yourself, buddy?
Yeah, Jhead, I don't think we've ever all had a hat on at the same time or all not had a hat on at the same time.
I mix it up.
I think we need to try it one time.
We should coordinate. We should
here's why I can't, man. You see that? It's that glare on my head. And look, it messes up my background.
That's right. I hear you. So you're
but
doing
I do have my lighting tonight. You see my light?
Yeah, it looks good.
Very nice.
Oh, all right, fellas. Well, let's see. Catching up on everybody since Thursday Shrivel Pod. Any fireworks?
Maybe. I think there may be some.
Yeah. Zach, are we going straight to the phones tonight for this recruiting call-in show?
Tonight. They're not waiting now.
Let's do it.
All right.
334, you're live. Introduce yourself.
Hey guys, how you doing? It's Jaylee Pinkhead.
Jaylee Pinkhead!
All right.
Great lead off tonight. And now, let me ask you this, Jaylee's Pinkhead. Is it Jaylee's Pinkhead or Jaylee Pinkhead?
I'll let y'all
leave it open to interpretation. I like it.
I like it. What you got for us, Jaylee's Pinkhead?
I got two things for you. So first thing, can I hear you all say that you're glad you talked to Jaylee Pinkhead?
Can you run that back for us real quick for us, buddy?
Can I get you all to say that you're glad you spoke with Jaylee Pinkhead?
Yes.
100%.
I'm thrilled.
Very happy.
Let me tell you something. You are already on the How About You list for Thursday Shrivel Pod, by the way.
There you go. How about you?
Oh, nice. All right. Well, second part is the recruiting. So, Jaylee, you've said a few times that during the seasons where Auburn really needs to pick up on the recruiting trail, we started off right. We're going to be able to turn some heads. What is the recruiting or what does the schedule look like for that to happen? Is it starting off 4-0? Does that get it to the point? Are we looking at October? Or does that come closer to November? Is it going 4-0? Is it going 4-2, 6-2?
I think your first opportunity, Jaylee's Pinkhead, is September 17th, Penn State. Auburn's going to go into that game 2-0, and if they're not 2-0 going into that game, this is all moot anyways, right?
Yeah.
Going into Penn State, it's going to be a huge attended game by recruits from the 23 class, from the 24 class. Some official visits are already set up for that weekend. I know some guys from South Beach are coming to that game. That's Auburn's first opportunity to really make some noise this season, put a convincing win on the board with Penn State. I think that's when people are starting the first opportunity for kids to go, okay. And then you've got Missouri the next weekend. You've got LSU the next weekend. You get through that 5-0, I think you're going to have a very different narrative surrounding this program. Cole, what you think?
Yeah, no, I don't see a way. More so, there's really not a better way to attempt to have more momentum on the recruiting trail. There's nothing else you can do that would be any better than starting off 5-0. And we're not saying that is 100% the cure. That's the antidote. That's going to bring every 5 and 4-star in. We're not saying that. We're saying if you want a chance to build some momentum, you've got to start by winning some games. Number one, bottom line.
Jhead?
I think you guys have, basically hit the nail on the proverbial head here. If we go 5-0 against that schedule, and I want you to think about who's currently committed to Penn State. 2 big-time in-state prospects in T.J. Parker and a big safety out of Selma, Alabama.
Sylvester. No. Sylvester. Dakari Nelson.
Dakari Nelson, both of whom we could turn the screws on later down the line should we choose to. Have a good showing against Penn State and show them, hey, you don't need to go out of state. Maybe that gets their attention. Look at Missouri. Brett Northfleet, a tight end who's committed to Missouri, who I know our tight ends coach is very high on. If Jelani Thurman does commit elsewhere, which is what we kind of think at this point, I think collectively on this show, that probably puts you in a good spot with him if that's a person you're trying to flip. And then obviously LSU, that's a named team. If you beat Brian Kelly the way we should beat Brian Kelly and LSU this year, you're going to have some people's attention rolling into the game against Georgia. Don't get smoked against Georgia, and now you've got real momentum going onto the recruiting trail.
I completely agree about that Georgia game. Just don't get smoked. Compete a little bit, right? Yeah. That's the only game you really didn't compete last year. Compete a little bit, and I think the narrative is already changed by then. And I don't think anybody expects Auburn to beat Georgia, so I don't think that's going to hurt. Just don't get smoked. J-Lee's Pinkhead, great call, big dog. We appreciate you, man.
Absolutely.
Thank y'all.
Got another caller here. 913, you're live. Who are we talking to? Nine 3-1.
Well,
somebody's listening.
What up?
Got him.
One more time, big dog.
Can you hear me, guys?
Yeah, we got you.
Yeah, who we got here?
Can you hear me, guys?
Yeah, man. Can you turn down your computer?
William Scott calling back in, brother. Clarksville, Tennessee, checking in. What's happening?
Hey, make sure you turn down your computer and listen to the phone, so because there's a big delay.
Yeah, talking to the phone.
Oh. There you go.
Okay.
There you, man. Yeah, that's perfect, man. What did you say your name was?
Are we good, guys?
Yeah. What's your name?
I try to call back, guys.
Okay.
Yeah, the delay had him 2 blocked there for a
Man,
minute.
he got good there for a second, though.
Yeah.
He did.
Hey, this is I like Zach. You bringing them on and asking them to introduce themselves. I like that. That's good. We won't have any talking over everybody. Do we have another one?
We're good on callers, so I'll bring up some questions for you guys.
All right, let's roll.
Blink twice as Amon Lane is a silent commit. Oh, Tyler.
I'm not blinking, brother.
Try not to blink.
Not blinking.
Tell you what, on Amon Lane, man, when I talked to him that night, it was last week, he said, I'll straight up give you my top 2, and I'll go ahead and tell you I'm getting close. I'm about ready to make this thing happen. And his top 2 was Auburn and LSU, and got ties with Auburn, but also LSU has done a great job with him and are pushing like crazy for him from what I understand. So,
but Amon Lane being the 4-star defensive back from Moody, Alabama, I think he played at Thompson last year. So he's a guy to keep an eye on. 2024 kid, and coming to Big Cat July the 30th. Definitely one to keep an eye on. Jhead, this War Eagle Stables is bringing us into a perfect opportunity for you. He wants to know if Chris Parsons, who is was committed to Florida State, when I ate lunch today and when I sat down for supper, he was decommitted. He is open for business. I wonder if the Brock Glenn news to Florida State, which, I mean, even me, I don't know. But anyways, Chris Parsons is no longer committed to Auburn. I do not see any interest there from Auburn, but a new name to keep an eye on, Jhead.
So, an Elite 11 quarterback prospect by the name of Jackson Smolik, who's currently committed to Tulane. That is a name to probably watch. Other than him, another Elite 11 quarterback committed to Miami, Emory Williams. Those are the two that I'm paying attention to right now that probably make the most sense in this class. Okay, those are the ones I think you should pay attention to. Yes, Chris Parsons is an interesting prospect, and he's been teetering on the fence of decommitment with FSU for a while now. That relationship had gone sour to a degree when FSU started to pursue other quarterbacks. But I'm with Jay Lee. I haven't sensed any interest. Maybe there will be some now, but to this point, I have not seen anything or been told anything that would indicate interest with Chris Parsons. But Emory Williams, Jackson Smolik, those are the guys that I want you to pay attention to.
Good stuff, Wiggle Stables. What you got for us, Zach?
We got Willie calling back in, so
Willie,
hopefully we can get him on here.
Willie is a multi-time
Willie
caller.
Hey, can you hear me now? Can
How about
hear
you,
me now,
Willie?
brother?
We are here,
My
Willie.
bad, brother had a bad connection.
All good. All good.
I really don't have a question. I just want to, get some stuff off my chest about my team, man. Everybody counting us out, right? I honestly think we're going to win 8 games, 9 plus the bowl game. And I'm just want to get you guys feeling on that and what you guys predicting for the season is.
Willie, we've talked about this on the Shrivel Pod, but I think it's a great time to talk about it on the Scholin Show.
I missed that episode.
No, you good, because this is it's a fun subject. It's a fun topic, especially for guys right now, because nobody really knows what to expect from this team. Nobody's giving this team a chance. Pick near the bottom of the SEC, if not the bottom of the SEC West. No chance. No quarterbacks coming back. People forget about the transfer portal, bringing in Zach Calzada, the offensive line, everybody returning intact. And I think everybody here has Auburn with at least 7 regular season wins and an 8 bowl season. I think that's the floor, to be honest with you. I think Jhead and Cole both think that 7 wins is the floor.
Yeah, and if you catch a few breaks, really with you, I think that 8, 9 wins is possible. I think you got to stay healthy throughout the season.
That's the key.
Yeah, I don't think you can afford any major injuries to any impact players because I don't love our depth at certain positions. But if you catch the breaks, Pat Dye once said that football, that a football is very oddly shaped. It's funny. It bounces the right way sometimes. We're going to need a little bit of luck, but that's not beyond Auburn to catch that luck and capitalize that with some actual talent on this team. Okay. It's not like it's not. I saw the post by the Alabama moderator. I think we all did. That's his perspective. That's his opinion. I don't share that. I think there are some legitimate dudes on this team that have the potential to play in the NFL. I think this team is capable. I think they're together. I think they're pulling in the same direction, and they're motivated, completely motivated.
And that's what I'm talking about.
This season.
Once you get a team like that, it's going to be scary. We count it out. We're going to surprise a lot of people, man. And that's the Auburn that always shows up.
I agree, Willie. And also you've got senior leaders.
Rock the world, man. And call me crazy, but hey, I'm a diehard and I love my team, man.
Willie, that's how the fans are supposed to be, buddy.
Believe in
man. I'm not worried about these recruits. I don't care about if you come in, if you're not, it don't matter. I really don't get into it until you sign a dotted line because they flip so much. So when you with us, you with us. Right. If you ain't, you ain't.
That's right.
That's good stuff, Willie. That is good stuff.
That's all I get, fellas, and we appreciate y'all, man, from Tennessee, man. And shoot, y'all live up here. Y'all come holler at me.
All right, Willie.
All right.
Hey, Willie, we appreciate you, man. Sure do. We appreciate you listening. Appreciate you calling.
Peace.
Yes, sir. Good stuff from Willie there. I mean, I'm all about some Willies, man. I mean, that type of fan.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
I think I have an expectation for all Auburn fans to be kind of like that, and when they're not, it sires me.
Well, and I think in the line of work that you guys are in, and in the line of work You know what I mean? And just messing for track in general, you get the fanatics and the people that, live and die with every commitment and every win and every loss.
Visit.
It's hard to maintain a measured response sometimes.
There's good and bad. I mean, look, there's a lot of good guys. There's a lot of guys that are positive at the right moments, and then you got your guys that are always negative, looking for the bad. It's just there's a yin and yang to it, I think.
Yeah, and then you got realists that probably do both, and rightfully so.
Yeah, I like the realists. I can get on board with them. I dropped one today talking about the Russian defense probably taking a slight dip. That's just the way I see it right now. The other things I think they're going to improve in rush defense. They were pretty good last year. It's going to be kind of tough to live up to that. So that kind of thing. That's a realist point of view, I would think.
Sure.
Thomas Jones wants to know, TJ wants to know, who do you guys think is the secret commit that's waiting on Big Cat? Thomas, if we told you, it wouldn't be a secret.
Nope, no comment.
But I will say this, Lake Seastrunk, keep an eye on him.
There you go.
I would keep an eye on Marcus Lattimore personally.
BK. Oh, BK's back. If we don't take a quarterback in 2023, you know what? I'm going to stop you right there, BK. Last week, I would have said if they miss on Brock Glenn, may not take one. This week, I think, like Jhead said, there's some new guys on the list. I think right now, if they can get one of these two guys, especially the Smolik kid from Iowa, to even visit, to join the class. Jhead, you like that Smolik kid. You watched his video. You think he's a great fit.
Fantastic fit. And look, you don't want to put too much hype around what somebody does at the Elite 11 because that's such a small sample size of what it takes to be a good quarterback. But when you put on his highlights of what he did last year, and it's limited play, but you see a fantastic arm, somebody that shows all the mechanics that it appears that Brian Harsin likes in his quarterbacks, somebody that has very good pocket mobility, reads the field very well, and has the arm to throw it make every throw on the field. So while he's going to be a smidge raw, I think he's a guy that can really rise his senior season if he plays up to his talent level.
And BK, let me finish yours. Let me go ahead and finish because he's talking about Adrian. Is it Posse?
Posey, I think is how you say his name, or is it Posse?
I don't know. If I was spelling Posse, that's how I would spell it. But you know how it is. You asked the wrong person. Adrian Posse. We'll say, shit, I bet it's Posey or something. Posse. He is coming up from Miami, Christopher Columbus High School. He's coming to Big Cat weekend. Aaron Nolan is coming over from Fairburn, Georgia, Langston Hughes. Both of those guys are four-star quarterbacks in the 2024 class. So I understand what he's saying. I still think, BK, that even if Auburn didn't take a quarterback in the 23 class, high school kid,
I think they're going to take a transfer. I do because I think somebody. I just don't see a way that either Calzada or TJ wins that job, and then the other person is content to ride the bench for the next 2 years.
I kind of agree with you, Jhead. I've said a couple times now that I didn't think they'd take one in 23, but the more I look at it, the more I realize that while they are pretty selective on most positions, they do know Keesaw and Harsin know the quarterback position really well. They both spent so much time working on the quarterback position that I don't think they recruit. I think they have qualities that they look for, and there may be guys with lesser qualities than the guys higher on their board as they start to look down, but they still have the qualities they like. So they're looking for those kind of things because they are very, they believe in their evaluating skills and their developmental skills at the quarterback position.
I agree with that 100%.
Definitely keep an eye on that on the Nolan kid, BK. He told Keith last week he's getting close. I think Auburn, West Virginia, Jhead. There was 3 schools he was looking at. Auburn obviously was the one that stood out the most.
Miami. It was Miami, West Virginia, Auburn were the top 3.
And then you got Posse coming up from Miami, who I'm sure the Canes are in on him too. So definitely keep. I mean, if there were 2 guys to say right now in the 2024 class, keep an eye on, it would be Aaron Nolan and Amon Lane for Big Cat weekend. And I don't know that they'll commit, but it's those would be my commit watch guys right now.
Yeah.
Zach, you could have just asked us on the air, big dog. He got a weather. How about that recent hire? Okay, this is a fair question here. Recent hire, Auburn recently hired. Coach Harsin definitely putting in what he's been saying about new culture and going pro with this new culture. I'm loving it. Auburn just hired Drew.
JD,
he's-
you're never gonna make you say the name.
He's
Drew.
got
It just hired Drew from the Cowboys, an expert scout guy, and
Fabianich, maybe. Fabianic,
Fabinich.
something like that.
There you go. Let's
A lot
go
of-
with Fabinich.
A lot of letters in that one.
Yeah,
We
dude.
need to get Brad Larondo on the show one night just to enunciate every name for us.
Right. Right.
But he is going to be the head scout. He's going to do a lot of personnel. He's going to, look at the boards, the high school boards, the transfer portal. He's a talent guy who's going to look and evaluate what's on the roster. He's going to see what the needs are and where, if the need for a third string right tackle, is that a spot we could use a developmental guy in high school to plug right here? He's going to be very detailed in what Auburn needs to do personnel, talent-wise, and what they have and what they don't, what they need, and where they need them from. Do we need an experienced guy here? Could we take a developmental guy here in this spot right here? So I think it's going to be a lot more detailed, specific. Jhead, what do you know? I know you like to dive into these type things.
So went and looked into his background, responsible for several first-round draft picks that have gone on to be, all-pro caliber type players for the Dallas Cowboys. Fantastic that, he was with the Cowboys for 18 years, and Jerry Jones, who trusts no one. When you stay employed for Jerry Jones for 18 years, that says something with regard to your value to a franchise. Go beyond that, and you look at his talent evaluation skills. And then the connections that, Brian Harsin has to him. Obviously, the offensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys, Kellen Moore, played for Brian Harsin at Boise State. He brought in Joe Witt Jr. to speak at his coaches clinic this past year. Joe Witt Jr. is the defensive backs / passing game defensive coordinator for the Cowboys. They probably spoke very highly of him. And then think about how it streamlines things behind the scenes. Now you have a guy who has been an evaluator at the highest level, been able to ID guys even at small schools that have gone on to be all pros. And now he's coming in to handle your evaluations and tell you who you should go after. And it frees up a guy like Darren Usher. It frees up, our DPP, who's been fantastic with connections in Georgia, to just go out and help with the assistance in recruiting other guys that this person is concentrating on who to go after. So it just puts one other hand that can kind of streamline everything behind the scenes, have one person that's a sounding board for the coaching staff that they can rely on, that they can trust his eye and evaluation of talent and saying, hey, we should go after this guy. And just provides, if he's freeing up responsibilities from Usher and other people, then that allows more hands on deck to actually be in the mix of recruiting these kids. So you have more texts, more phone calls, more love from Auburn. You know what I mean? And we need that right now. We need all hands on deck. So I think it was a fantastic hire when you look at it from that perspective.
It's good stuff, Zach. Good question, man. BK's back. If you had $1,000 to bet on the Penn State game, who are you taking? Straight up, Auburn.
Cole. And we lost him.
Have mute button on. Sorry about that. Straight up, no betting lines. Auburn.
I'll make that 3. I like us in the revenge game.
What is the line? Isn't it? Zach, can you find us the early line for Auburn Penn State? I think Auburn's favored by a field goal or two. Which I would. I mean, I think the home. You're getting 3 points for home, especially with the Penn State coming to town in middle of September, where it's still going to be blazing freaking hot.
Think about last year. How much were we in that game until Kobe Hudson fumbled? And I'm not trying to put, but that was a complete momentum changer in that game. He reverses field and picks up 30 yards, which is what he had in front of him, and doesn't drop the football. That's a completely different game. And mistakes happen. You have to be a good enough team to overcome that. But it's not like Penn State blew us out last year in a whiteout game in their stadium. Now they're coming to our place. We didn't lose. I mean, yes, Bo Nix is no longer here. Can Zach Calzada be a more efficient version of what Bo was in that game? I think that's definitely possible. And if that happens, I think we win by a field goal or more.
What you got, Zach?
Penn State's actually a 1-point favorite, according to FanDuel.
In Jordan Hare. Interesting.
Damn. So that means
They
neutral
would have
site
been
game.
They probably would have been a 4-point favorite if that game wasn't in Jordan Hare, because home field usually is about 3 points.
Yeah.
Well, we got a long way to go. That could change. Jhead, to your point about Auburn not getting blown out against Penn State in that environment, whatever. Name one game other than Georgia that Auburn got blown out in last year.
They didn't. Other than, all right, so the A&M game was obviously ugly, you know what I mean, and it got away from us late. But we were in that game going into the fourth quarter. There wasn't another game on the schedule that we weren't in or couldn't win.
Right. Now on the other side of that coin, you cannot be that way in 2022.
No.
You cannot. Almost does not count, and it didn't count this past year. Don't get me wrong. But some people, like I just did, would go, hey, well, they almost won a bunch of games, almost all of them. They almost beat Bama, whatever. That's not going to count this year. You've got to come up with a win. You got to pull one out somewhere. You got to do it.
I agree. And we've said it on the show, close on the counts and horseshoes, hand grenades, and slow dancing, brother. So look, you know what I mean? You've got to get it done on the football field this year. And I think sometimes, and look, people are going to call me crazy or whatever. You learn more from a loss than you do from a win. And us having to go through 6 straight losses last year, I think that has actually benefited this team for making them realize they are not further along than they thought they were. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To make them grind that much harder in the offseason and realize we have to play together and we can't make the mental mistakes that we made last year if we want to win football games.
That line has flipped back and forth. Auburn was a 1-point favorite on May 19th. Penn State has since moved up to a 1-point favorite. So a lot of flip-flopping there, a lot of money moving the line on that game. I'm still taking Auburn straight up. I might take Auburn +1 even more.
Auburn +1, definitely.
Yeah, no doubt. If they want to give me points, hell yeah.
Yeah, right.
What year is the worst? Auburner 99 wants to know, what year is the worst you've ever seen Auburn's recruiting class in mid-July? Oh, shit. I can't remember freaking last week, much less years past. I would never be concerned with a recruiting class in the middle of July, especially when 3 out of 4 commitments are 4-star guys who chose Auburn over Clemson, who chose Auburn over Tennessee, and who chose Auburn over Georgia.
I was going to say the same thing, Jeffrey. I just haven't ever been, even if Auburn's commit count was lower in the summer, I've never really been just fretting over a class in July. I just think there's so much to happen, a whole football season to go.
Well, and let me add this. I think for historical purposes, we do need to say that there wasn't an early signing day in the 2005.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I went
back and looked. You know what I mean? All right, so look, Tommy Tuberville went through Jetgate, right, in 2003. That 2004 season, until it took off, our recruiting class really didn't take off that year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you look at the number of commitments that we got, they all started coming really October-ish moving forward. And they finished with a phenomenal class, I think. Ben Abamanu, Devin Aroshimadu, those were all guys in that. Brandon Cox were all guys in that class that we got late. And Lord knows, please, I'm sure I said their names wrong. Guys won't hate me for it if you watch the show. But I think coming out of turmoil, the expectation was unrealistic, even from somebody like myself, that maybe we'd be further along in recruiting than we are right now. I think where we are is realistic. I think these coaching staff is doing the best they can to dig themselves out of this hole that was not created by them. And look, they're not perfect. I'm sure they've made mistakes on the trail, but you can't blame what happened. I mean, what happened in February is put a black eye on them, and they can't change that until they get into the season.
Right.
Yeah, it's I tell you what, when October comes around, it's gonna be a different world. We'll know where Auburn sits in the season. We'll know where some other guys are going, who's visiting. We're going to see a lot of new targets pop up. Some guys that are coming up right now, probably haven't heard of them. Probably some guys, 4 or 5-star guys, getting back in on. So a lot to do. Anthony Smith Jr., not to be confused with Anthony Smith Sr., Big Pops. Who's the biggest sleeper? This is a good one right here. A little football question. Who's the biggest sleeper on offense and defense that nobody's talking about that can have a major season? Cole, what you got?
A couple people come to mind. Malcolm Johnson Jr.
Yeah.
He's one.
Yeah.
Tyler Fromm is a guy that could have a bigger role in the passing game. And then, I've kind of, driven this one into the ground, but I'll go with Cam Stutz on the offensive line too.
Jhead, you got anybody off the top of your head?
Yeah. And you're going to have to help me with the name on the defensive line. Walker.
Gary Walker?
Zacchaeus.
Oh, Zeke.
Zeke Walker. That is my sleeper for the defensive
I forgot
side.
to do defense too.
I think this is his year to really break out. And in the secondary, because I think we're going to have a name emerge. Who's the kid, the safety we took a year ago from the state of Mississippi? He was a late ad. It was like a 2-star.
Caden Bridges.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to go
Very
with
good choice.
him as my defensive sleeper, as my sleeper in the defensive secondary.
Very good choice. I forgot to do defense. I'll go with DJ James just because, for whatever reason, it seems like I haven't heard his name in a while. So
Okay.
I'll call him a sleeper, even though he was pretty dang good at Oregon.
I was going to say I can't call him a sleeper, man. I'm expecting big
Well,
things.
he's kind of an exception, just because I mean, when we're talking about corners and stuff, we talk about Pritchett and Simpson, and we should, but I think James is right in the conversation with those two.
Yeah,
He's right
I agree.
there.
I don't really know enough. I think just from talking to some people, the name, I was surprised when I heard Jason Jones. Speaking of DJ James, another Oregon transfer. Jason Jones, big old mug, man. He's damn 6'6", 6'7", 300, I don't know, 11 pounds. I don't know what he is, but he's he's a big old dude.
Yeah, he is.
I mean, as far as people not talked about, sleeper type guys, I don't know. What you guys act?
We got one caller here. 205, you're live. Who are we talking to?
What's up, guys? It's Memes again. How y'all doing?
Hey, what's up?
Hey, I didn't call last week. I didn't want the ratings to drop, but
Thank you.
we're back.
Thank you. Maybe we'll get some advertisers back now.
Glad to have you, man. What's on your mind, Memes?
Well, we got a few things to bring up here. First thing is going to be, y'all hadn't been doing a great job of calming the fans. They're getting riled up lately.
We're trying, man. We're trying.
I think it's hard to set an expectation for an Auburn fan, Memes, if I'm going to be completely honest. It varies between realistic to unrealistic to idealistic. Any stick that you can put on there, I think it ranges in the Auburn category. But I would just pray that everybody be patient with this staff and let's kind of see how the season starts to go.
Well, the point I want to bring up with that is, what do we – I guess the reasons why this is happening, obviously it's been not getting some guys from the boards, the places they wanted, which I'm no guru here, but I don't know if there's any death of a class losses we've had so far, and there's plenty of guys left, and, of course, it's still July. Do we think people are just freaking out a little bit more because it doesn't seem like there's as much transparency with what this coaching staff is doing and big picture plan as there has been in the past?
Maybe. They work a little quieter. And, we do the best we can to get intel when we have it and put it out there. And that's one theory, one man's theory for sure. I think Jhead had a good point a minute ago talking about the December signing day. And the way that guys are just committing sooner and sooner, and the way that they're committing sooner and sooner to other schools, I should say, and not to Auburn right now. That's another thing that's just it's impossible to cull people on. So,
And go ahead. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry. That's the okay. But, well, for me, it's just the board, because it seems like, for example, the wide receiver board, no one really knows what Ike's up to right now. It doesn't seem like. So I guess when people aren't seeing, hey, what's the next step in the prospect, you get a guy, we don't really know why he's moving away from Auburn. Was it by design or did we lose the grip? And I think everybody's just assuming the worst right now.
Anybody specific?
That's kind of what I was getting at with that.
Anybody in particular?
What's his name? The tight end who? What's the guy's name today?
Jelani Thurman.
What did you say?
Jelani Thurman. Is that who you're referring to, Memes?
Yeah. One of them. And then what's his name? The receiver, Seymour.
Lamar Seymour. Yeah.
Was starting to trend away as well. And, of course, the Falk situation and, of course, with Brock Lynn. So it seems like guys that they seem like all these were more locks.
I'll tell you what, Memes. I think.
It doesn't really seem like there's a second best right now.
Well, I think.
Is that why people are freaking out?
I think this goes for everybody on this show right here, as well as the coaches. I think everybody knew that February put a big dent would be a big factor. I don't think they imagined it would be this big of a factor, especially when you had so much interest in the spring and summer after the coup, the failed coup. I think they were more optimistic. I don't think they realized, including myself, I didn't realize how much of a factor the instability, the perception of instability for this coaching staff would hinder their recruitment. And it has majorly, a lot more than I ever thought. Okay, I thought if it was going to be that big of a deal, people wouldn't even waste their time coming to Auburn. I thought if it was going to be that big of a deal, people wouldn't waste their time coming multiple times to Auburn. If it was going to be that big of a deal, they wouldn't come back for an official visit in June to Auburn. And then you get down to the, crunch time, and you finish third for Keldrick Falk. You finish, potentially third for Jelani Thurman. Brock Glenn says deuces, and which makes me appreciate and respect Carmelo English and Jeremiah Cobb and Terrence Love and Brady Joyner even that much more. I don't think the coaches expected it, especially given all the signs leading up to today, with all the visits and all the interest and all the kids saying the right things when they left, and then it's time to go, and it's the instability. I mean, we talked about it last week. I don't know if it was on the Shrivel Pod or on this show, but I've had talk to two parents of recruits that chose other schools over Auburn, and it was, we loved Auburn, we loved the coaches, but are they going to be there next year? And
then
when it came down to it, it was just the stability.
Hater issue was, what about the people who are saying, well, they weren't recruiting well before all that stuff happened?
They weren't what?
Is that a valid stance, or is that just people being grumpy?
That's the grumpy side of things, I would say.
Yeah,
just because, they didn't have time to really get it going at that point. Now you really can't use that excuse anymore. They're not really playing from behind anymore. So that's kind of why people are like, okay, there's no excuses. Well, what's the deal here? Memes, let me ask you, though. You seem like a critical thinker. What are your thoughts on everything right now?
In regards to recruiting or big picture?
To your question, in regards to recruiting and if you think the big picture is not bright for Auburn. I'm curious what you think.
So for me, I am very much on it's a year zero type thing. Or last year was year zero. You can't really judge anything that happened. If Auburn had a $21 million problem, you've got to be crazy to think if that's going to get fixed overnight in year one or even year two, and then maybe start getting better in year three. Like, I always knew this was going to be a big picture thing. You got to take a few steps back to leap forward. And I just think that few steps back is just people couldn't bear that. It was rustled too many jimmies, and they just went ballistic with it. I understand that this is a process. Everything hasn't been perfect, but overall, I think the team is doing a lot of good things with what they were given. Obviously, the coaching pieces weren't right last year with the chemistry with Bobo, with Mason, even going to Cornelius Williams, getting some of these guys out of here, shifting out the coaches, getting the eggs, getting the chemistry right. And it seems like they've got a pretty good deal going now, all things considered, and it seems like the chemistry between the coaches and the players is moving well, development guys feel confident, et cetera, et cetera. I would definitely blame the recruiting woes on what Auburn did to itself in February, and I think that's everybody who is threw gasoline on that flame has no one else to blame but themselves for perpetuating all that. and the constant negativity even still today. So I think they got to survive the year. I think they've got a lot of good things moving forward. If they can win 7+ games, get some momentum with these 2024 guys, I think the 2023 will come, and it may just be something we all put behind. It's kind of like an 03 Jetgate type situation, but it's going to be one of the toughest hills they've got to climb. That's my synopsis on it.
Yeah, it always gets worse before it gets better, right? Go ahead, Jhead.
It means you had a very interesting take on it, and I agree. So I think everybody on this show would agree that at the point that Gus was fired, he probably had run his course at Auburn. I think he was. I think he did some really great things.
Yeah,
it started on the decline, but it hadn't bottomed out yet, right? And you think of every coaching change prior to Gus, they had bottomed out. Pat Dye had gone 2 straight years of 5-6, and then 5-5-1, I think. So you could see that he was in the decline. Bowden, obviously, he quit midseason because his record was so bad. Tuberville in his last year went 5-7 and got throttled by Alabama. Chiswick, 2012 was the worst year we've ever seen ever in Auburn football history. So anything coming out of those years would have been seen as a positive. We go 6-6 in year one of Brian Harsin in a complete retooling of the offense and the defense. And everybody's in mass pandemonium because, hey, we took a step back on the field, and they don't see it as a complete schematic and culture change, which probably was needed for us to take a major step forward. So I understand the fans' perspective. Then you have a top 15 class in December, and everybody calms down. Then we miss out, obviously, on National Signing Day. Transfer portal doesn't go exactly how we want it to go. Everything happens in February, and it's led us to this point. And it just seems like it's been bad news after bad news after bad news.
With a little bit of good sprinkled in.
Yeah, with a little bit of good sprinkled in here and there.
Yeah.
We need a massive turn of 5-0 to get everybody on the same page to kind of stop this cycle of negativity. And I think once that transpires, if that transpires, then you'll start to have buy-in from all angles.
Yeah.
Means that's good stuff, big dog.
We got a whole bunch of callers now.
All right, let's rip them off. I mean, not monetarily, but
678. You're live. Who are we talking to?
got us an Atlanta number.
678. You're live.
Oh, yeah. I had my phone on me. This Marquez Beckwith. How y'all doing?
What's up, Marquez?
How's it going?
Pretty good, pretty good. I was just calling in, chatted up with you guys.
I hear you. What
Well,
you
let's
got
talk
for us?
What's on your mind, Marquez?
Man, I'm ready to see Auburn shock the world this year, man. I think the guys are sleeping on them, man. I think they're gonna have a big year this season.
We need more Marquez and Willies in this world.
Yeah.
What do you like about this team?
Yeah.
Man, I like the way Zach is working right now. He's being consistent. Like the way Tank Bigsby is working. Zach, he got the receivers, and that's going to be a big thing for the offense. It's going to be big. He getting that timing now. The defense going to be what it is. You know, the defense going to be what it is. Got a lot of guys returning. Want to see what Simpson going to do coming back in. Know what Derek Hall going to do. I think it's going to be a big year for them. It's going to be a big year. I think they're going to shock a lot of people.
Well, you know, the key to a successful team typically is a good defense, and I think Auburn's defense is going to be fantastic this year. I love Jeff Schmedding at the helm of the defense. I love the defensive line. I think they're as good on paper as anybody. I think they're really good. I think that secondary with Nehemiah Pritchett, and you got DJ James, as Cole's mentioned, he's definitely turned some heads this year. I'm excited about the defense, man. If you can get Zach Calzada to be half as good as we think he's going to be, I think Auburn's got a chance to do what you said, Marquez, which is to shock some folks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't like people being so negative. You know,
Me neither,
like
big dog.
Negative or saying what's going on, and you know, they working. Like, trust me, you know, I know they working. The receivers, they coming along. The receivers are going to be 10 times better than last year. Trust me.
I agree.
I like that take. I'm kind of getting to where I think the receivers might take a big leap this year as well. Maybe not they may not be one of the best groups altogether in the SEC or something, but definitely better playmakers, I think.
Yeah, and I'm speaking from inside of the program. I'm Damari's Austin running back trainer, so I'm a bit biased.
Oh, love Maury.
With him for the last 2 years.
Okay.
I'm in Auburn every Sunday still right now working with him, so it's gonna be huge. It's gonna be huge.
Mark, what are you liking about Damari right now? How's he doing?
Man, Damari's doing great. He's doing great, man. He got it all. He got it all. He's doing great.
I love that kid, man. I had him on the show, I think, last fall. I really like what he did for that recruiting class last year. Really think he's going to be a special guy for
Absolutely.
Auburn.
So let me ask you a question now. Is Brad Lester getting in your way a little bit? He's stepping on your toes, or you know what I mean?
Oh, no. There's enough out here for all of us, man. There's enough out here for all of us. I see some of the work that he's doing. He's doing some good work with the guys he's working with. And I'm staying in my lane, doing some good work with the guys I'm working with. I want to, if he hear this, I want to collab with him. I ain't trying to compete with him.
No, I hear you. There's a little tongue in cheek for me. Just, you know what I mean? I had to throw a name out there of a guy. I appreciate everything that you're doing for Damari and you calling in to comment on what you have seen internally from this group, how they put in the work over the summer. And Brad's doing the same thing for Tank and helping him better his game. And so I just wanted to make a mention and throw your name out there, man, so that everybody can kind of hear you as somebody that's training, probably somebody who's going to be the number 3 back on Auburn's roster this year.
Yes. Markwell Beckwith. I'm on Instagram, Twitter. It's Beckwith Sports Academy. That is BECKWITH Sports Academy.
Very nice, man.
Markwell. I said Marquez, but it's Markwell. MARQUELLE? L. No E.
Without the E. MARQUELL.
There you go. Cool, Markwell. Good to meet you, man. I appreciate you.
That was
calling
good.
in, dude.
That was good stuff, man.
Hey, call back in and check in with us on give us some updates on Maury.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I appreciate y'all for having me in.
All right. Appreciate you, man. What you guys at?
All right. Take care.
Oh man, y'all got the call lines buzzing now.
Uh-oh. Bring him in.
205, you're live. Who are we talking to?
You got to turn that volume down, man, and listen to the phone.
He doesn't know he's on the air.
205, you're live.
That was good. Good stuff, man.
Yeah, he's way behind.
I think you just said, I'm living, man. LIVIN.
All right. We go to the next one here. 334, you're live. Who are we talking to?
This is Mad Max you're talking to.
Mad Max, man. Why are you so mad?
Yeah, I'm from straight out of Montgomery, brother.
I hear you. The Gump, brother.
I hear you.
Big time. I'm a 334 guy.
Yeah. Man, I just want to say I'm pretty much like I'm really excited about what Harson's doing in the city, recruiting in the area. Montgomery is pretty much one of the hotbed recruiting grounds around here, and it's really exciting to see him out in this area.
Hey, Max, have you? I agree, man. And I know Auburn's got the commitment from Jeremiah Cobb from there at Catholic High School. I wrote today about. I know Pike Road is. They think they're too good for Montgomery, but Pike Road is. We got Bison Lane coming in for Big Cat Weekend. I think Malik Blockton is another kid to keep an eye on. He's a 2024 defensive lineman, I believe, from Pike Road.
All right.
Auburn definitely working the Gump hard.
Yep. Quay Rusall, James Smith,
Carver. How could you forget Carver, Jeffrey? Quay Rusall, James Smith, two of the top recruits in the country.
one question I have for you guys: what do you think of the difference from Mike Bobo to Esau?
Bobo to Keesaw?
Yeah, he said, what do you think is different from Bobo to Keesaw's offense? I'll give my thoughts, and then I want yours too, Jhead, on that.
Sure.
To me, I think the balance, just from watching his film from Boise, the balance is not as important to him. I think if he gets hot in the run game, he's going to stay with that. If he gets hot in the passing game, he'll stay with that. He likes to get the ball to the running backs in creative ways. So screens, flares, swing passes. He'll line them up at the receiver position. And I think Tank Bigsby's the guy that can be really, really good in that style of offense. And then I think the play action game from under center is going to be similar, but I think they want to throw it downfield a little bit more too, from what I can tell.
I feel like he might be a little bit more comfortable because last year he didn't even know Mason, he didn't know Bobo, but he has offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator that he's kind of familiar with.
Yeah.
You were going to you're speaking to my point right there, brother, because what I was going to say is probably more cohesion between the offensive philosophy that the head coach wants to utilize. That comfort for Brian Harsin to jump in and call plays. I think they're going to do it situationally where, I don't think it's going to be a true 50-50 split, but I do think situationally, contingent on red zone, down and distance, Brian Harsin is going to be involved in the play calling aspect of it. And I think there's that comfort level between Keesaw and him to understand when he can step in and when he's going to take control. I also think you're going to see more wide zone this year from the run game. I think that's been a staple of the Boise offense. It's something that they want to utilize more in the run game this year, kind of stretch the defense to a degree so they can't crowd the box in certain situations. I think they definitely want to accentuate that if they can. And Cole mentioned it, the down the field passing game. That's two-pronged. I think, one, you've got a quarterback that can make plays down the field. That wasn't necessarily your quarterback's strong suit last year. And number two, I think you've got receivers this year. They're going to be more comfortable in the offense that are going to be able to better accentuate that aspect of the offense as well. I think you have guys with legitimate speed in the slot in Javarius Johnson and Rooster. Rooster. And for those that don't know, Cole, if you want to go ahead and give the name, because I always butcher it every time I say it.
That's Tavares Dawson.
Tavares Dawson. I think Malcolm Johnson Jr. on the outside is a guy that's going to be able to get deep and make plays. So I think all the way around, like you said, having cohesion between the head coach and the offensive coordinator, especially an offensive-minded head coach, is a massive deal. I think who's calling the plays and the style of offense being on the same page is just going to breed better comfort and a better understanding to the offensive players and trying to execute what they're being given each week from a gameplay standpoint.
Good stuff. Hey, Max, we appreciate you, big dog.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, man.
Appreciate it.
What you got?
We got 4 callers waiting still.
Let's hit them real quick.
865, you're live. Who are we talking to?
It's Cody Miller.
Oh, Cody.
What's up, Cody?
How's it going, guys? Good. I just got off work and saw that you guys were live. Figured I'd call in.
What's on your mind, Cody?
Well, a couple things. I might be a little behind, but I just heard you talking about Brian Harsin might not necessarily be 50-50 on play calling and all those things, but I think 50-50 is sticking to what's working. If the run game's working, you stick to that. And if the passing game's working, you stick to that. I think that's more important than having to do 40 plays running, 40 plays passing.
Cody.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right, Cody?
Hey, Cody, let me give you an interesting stat that I found a little while back. When Keesaw was with Harsin as his co-offensive coordinator, and Zach Hill was in there in the mix too at the time, there was at Arizona State. It was either Keesaw or Zach Hill. They split play calls, and one of them only called on third downs. And Boise was second in the NCAA in third down conversions when they did that. Number 2 in the nation.
Do you know which one was the third down play caller?
That's what I'm not sure about. I know Keesaw was calling plays, but I don't know if he was the third. It may have been Harsin that was calling the third downs, if I remember correctly. I have to go back and research that one. I'll put that one out on the board, but yeah.
And Cody, when I said
that's true.
when I said 50-50, I meant play calls between Keesaw and Harsin, not on the run pass balance. I think they're going to be balance to me, and you hit it, is whatever's working. Okay. If the run game's working, you stick. If the passing game's working, you stick. Yeah, you have to give them different looks at times, but you don't want to cut your nose off to spite your face. But no, the 50-50 comment was with regard to who's going to actually call the play. I think there's going to be a balance that's going to be struck in between Keesaw and Harsin.
Yeah.
Well,
Good.
one more thing, if you guys have the time.
Yeah, man.
Sure.
So the Iron Bowl last year, I've heard so many stories that Smetting was the one actually calling plays. And to me, as the guy sitting on my couch watching the football game, it did seem like a totally different defense. So, I mean, was there any validity to that, or was that just kind of message board fodder?
I agree, Cody, man. It looked different to me, too. I thought the same thing when I was watching it. I mean, it was a totally different game plan than what we had seen all year. But I don't have any intel on that, if there was a change or anything like that. But maybe he had more input in the office. I mean, in the defense, Jeff Smetting at that time. It's very possible. You know, I don't think he hired Smetting and Keesaw to be analysts the whole time he was there. I think he hired them to be the coordinators eventually.
Yeah.
Cody, we appreciate you calling, man. We're going.
Y'all just pray for me. I'm right outside of ball country, and I have to hear how they've been back for 12 years. So they finally scored a couple points this year and won some games, so it's gotten even louder. So.
Oh, man.
Oh, boy.
Pick up a McDonald's bag and send it to me, would you?
Yeah.
I would. They're fresh out of Happy Meals all over East Tennessee, buddy.
Appreciate you, Cody.
All right. Thanks, guys.
You got it, buddy.
Seven 7199. You're live. Who are we talking to?
What's going on? It's Bubba.
Bubba?
What's going on?
Hey, Bubba, will you turn your computer down for me?
It's down, man.
Oh,
I got you on Bluetooth, so I don't know if that's what's wrong.
Oh, it's all good.
You're rich, buddy.
You're coming in clear.
I just want to get one or two things off my mind here. You know, everybody's projecting us 5 games, but what they don't realize is Auburn was a handful of plays from being a 10-win team last year.
Yeah.
And I think that it was a number of things contributing to that. But most importantly is you didn't have a whole team buying like you do this year.
I agree with that, too.
Also discipline.
Yep.
Did we lose you, Bubba?
Bubba, you there? I think we've lost him.
That's all right. I think you made a good point. I mean, and basically all the main cast is coming back this year, with the exception of Bo Nix, and you think maybe he's an upgrade with Calzada. You've got upgrades at the coordinator positions, we presume, a better defense. So I don't know why anybody's not optimistic. Zach, let's keep it going, Big Dog.
All right. 256. You're live. Who are we talking to?
It's Pete Flank.
Oh, Pete Flank. What's up, Pete Flank?
What's up?
Oh, man, not much. Sitting here watching the cows graze.
I hear you, man. That's
I'm jealous of that.
God's country, then. I hear you.
Yep.
What's on your mind tonight, PF?
Well, I've been listening to all this negative talk and this, that, other, and everybody down on Harsin. I like the guy myself.
What do you like about him, Pete?
Well, he don't take no BS. He knows what he wants to do, and if you don't like it, you can get over it.
Get the hell out.
Yep.
I like it too, man. That's one
You
of
are-
the things that first stood out to me when he came in.
I think a lot of the problems that he's having is because of the people down in Auburn that don't like it, not having control over it.
I think that's a general consensus.
Yeah, it's probably got something to do with it.
I mean, I judge them, looking at a coach, you watch him last year, these guys played hard. They seemed to be prepared. And, in some cases they was outgunned, but that wasn't his fault.
Yeah. Yep. Had him in every game, coaching wise, man. I think it's fantastic. I think he's an elite coach. I really do. I
think they need to just leave him alone.
I think he's an elite coach. I think if he can get the recruiting, I think his elite coaching might turn into some elite recruiting. But until he can prove that he's an elite coach, I think the recruiting is going to be about the same.
I'll tell you what, real quick, I'll just add this. I know we got some more callers, but man, it's almost like a reverse of what you see with SEC head coaches right now. He's real heavy on the football side of things, whereas SEC head coaches, with everything you have to deal with, are more like CEOs these days. So, what he's trying to do is a sort of a different spin on the head coach position with the way things are right now. And, we'll see if it works. That's what we're waiting on, right? See what happens.
Yeah, I hope it. I'm rooting for him.
Good stuff, Pete Flank. We appreciate you, big dog.
All right, man. Y'all have a good one.
All right, buddy. You too. How we doing, Zach?
Got 3 more.
Damn.
Keep coming. 4729. You're live. Who are we talking to?
What's going on, gentlemen? It's Solar Flare.
Solar Flare, my man.
I know. I thought I'd call back, boys. Make it 2 in a row.
I got you, boy.
Very nice.
And I appreciate everything y'all do. So I know a lot of guys saw a question, and I really just use this more as a platform to just kind of get things I'm thinking about out there. But one thing I'm going to be paying attention to is, with Gus, it seemed like it took us 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games to figure out our personnel.
Yeah.
And we don't really have that luxury in the 22 season. So I'm going to be looking to make sure that we are understanding who our personnel are coming out of the gate, and we are utilizing them to their maximum potential from the first snap. I mean, we don't have the time to kind of be figuring out what we have and all that. I know there's some question marks probably with Calzada, and maybe what's working and what's not working, but we have to be keenly aware of what we need to do to win football games right out of the gate. And I just really want to know what you guys were thinking about that.
Jhead, what do you think about that?
I think we do have some time to figure things out. You've got your first 2 games against Mercer and San Jose State where you can experiment to a degree. Now, like you said, by the time we get to Penn State, we need to know. There needs to be no question about what our offensive identity is and how we plan to attack them, because that's a game that you need to show up and you need to be impressive in. But having 2 opponents, one from FCS, one from the G5, that you're more talented than both of those teams, I think you can probably either keep things vanilla and or experiment to a degree with some of your player rotations and try to figure out who your playmakers are going to be.
Yeah, but Jhead was more talented than Georgia State.
Say again, brother. I'm sorry.
I said we were more talented than Georgia State last season. So we can't sleep on anybody.
Oh, I'm not saying sleeping. I don't want you to anticipate it as that. But what I would say is that I think that you can figure out who your playmakers are going to be with a little bit more comfort than you would if you were, say, starting out against LSU at home. I think that's a situation where you need to know exactly what you're going to do. And because you're potentially breaking in a quarterback that has never taken snaps at Auburn, whether it's Robbie Ashford. I mean, if it's TJ, then obviously he had snaps last year in our offense. But if it's Robbie Ashford, if it's Zach Calzada, you have an opportunity to figure out what their strengths are while also probably being able to dominate both those 2 teams in the run game. Like I think that you can.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think we need to, get Tank and Wes going early. We really need to use Calzada if that's the coach. I think that's what it to be. Is like let's work on the game in the middle of the field. Let's stretch it left and right, vertical. Let's see what these receivers are capable of. We're going to need to be able to count on those guys later in the season. And I agree with you. We do have a couple games where we can kind of test some things out, but we need to know our personnel and what their skill sets are coming out of the gate is what I should say.
Well, just be glad you're not Texas, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
aren't they opening
that's an NFL program. They're doing all right.
I'm sorry, dude. Correct me if I'm wrong. Are they not opening against Bama?
100%.
Okay.
I want to hear the we're back.
That's fair.
Yeah, I want to hear the we're back Texas chants right until they get smoked by 40 points against Bama in their home stadium.
Oh,
it's going to be bad too because they're on cloud
I
nine.
had the horns all the way up for that game.
They were on cloud nine after getting arched. Man, they're just gonna fall so hard after that.
So
that's
man.
kind of high, boys. That recruiting gets you though. I mean that.
Yeah.
It buys a lot of time and it really puts momentum behind the program. I mean, it's a big deal, and that's why you see the Auburn fan base, all up in arms right now. It's just like, I mean, Thurman, he's not looking like he's turning our way. I mean, it's
need the season, man. Need the season.
Builds the momentum. So
the season can't get here fast enough.
There's a reason.
I agree. Listen, recruiting definitely buys you a pass at times. That's it. But you also can't be Kevin Sumlin and mismanage your talent either. And Steve Sarkisian, to this point, has not proven that he's a big-time head coach, not in my opinion anyway. I don't believe he has a championship on his resume at this point. So, it's going to be really important. Yes, he's recruiting at a lights-out level right now, but let's see what he does with the actual talent when he has it on hand.
Solar, we appreciate you, big dog.
Absolutely. Yeah. Hey, I love what you guys do. Talk to you later. Take care.
Thanks, man. We appreciate you, Solar.
Man. That was great.
256, you're live. Who are we talking to?
Yeah, this is to you, Hogbone on the corner and everything.
Hogbone?
Yeah, I got a question for y'all. Keeping up with this NIL and the collectives and all that stuff, kind of giving me a headache.
Yeah, you and me both, Hogbone.
Hey, I feel you.
I mean, it's not regular recruiting anymore. But what's going on with that? I mean, I know that Jhead kind of talked a little bit about it, but last week. But can that come into play to help us any in this situation with recruits, or can we not talk about it? It's just I don't understand where that lies in the whole landscape.
Jhead, I'm gonna let you. He wants to hear you. Let me make sure I'm hearing this. Are you saying hog ball?
Hog bone.
Oh, hog bone. Is that what he said?
Yeah, that's what he said.
Hog
bone. Yeah.
C-O-N-E.
Okay, all right. Yeah, that's what a girl called me back at in college. That's on a whiskey now. Hey, Hogbone, where are you from?
I'm from over here in Bibb County now.
Bibb County, okay.
Grew up down in Dadeville, and my grandmother lived down the road from Suge Jordan.
All right.
You would happen to be from Woodstock, Alabama, would you?
I'm growing up.
Oh, Bibb County. Jhead, so Hogbone wants to know, NIL, can it help Auburn?
Yes. And our very own Justin Hokanson had a great story about this with regard to the merger and the finalization. And they're still going through some logistical things there to get that complete. I think once that gets up and running and the Auburn administration figures out exactly what Harson's role can be there, NIL can 100% help this recruiting class. But I think it's got to work hand in hand with us showing a winning product on the field to get complete buy-in from prospects. I think prospects are very interested in profiting from NIL, but they also want to know who that coaching staff is going to be and can they accentuate their skill set and get them to the next level, because that NFL payday is always going to be better than any money they're going to make in college. I mean, unless you're that kid that signed a deal with Tennessee or Rashada at Miami. I mean, maybe they're making equivalent money. I don't really know. You know what I mean? Those are some massive deals. But yes, NIL can help us 100%. But I do think the product on the field has to improve for us to be able to use that to its fullest capacity, and to be able to help us land some recruits later on down the line.
Hogwell, you sound like a guy I wouldn't mind having a little sip of liquor with one night.
No doubt.
Count me
We got
in.
2 more callers here.
All right, you got the last call in, Zach?
Yeah, last 2.
All right, cool.
352. You're live. Who are we talking to?
No, this ain't 352. This is. Oh yeah. I'm sorry, man. I thought you was doing the area code.
Oh, we got 2 of the same area code, so I had to move it to the next one.
All right. Well, hey, what's your name? Where are you from?
I'm Bo, man, from Moody.
Bo from Moody.
Yes,
Moody.
sir. Hey,
Moody.
that guy from Moody, I think he's going to be our next commit.
Amon Lane, 24.
Amon Lane.
4-star defensive back from Moody, Alabama. Hey, Bo, let me ask you
I
this.
think we're going to have Aaron Nolan. I think
Yep.
he's going to commit to us to be a cat weekend, too.
Bo, let me ask you this. You're from Moody. You know a little bit about Amon. Do you know he's got a fantastic story, personal story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
He lives with the coach. I don't know if he's fully adopted.
Yes, sir, as coach.
Bo, do you have any insight on that?
Not that much, man.
Okay. He's an awesome kid, man. I talked to him again the other day. Awesome kid.
Look around.
No. That would be something I'm very intrigued with. He's an awesome kid to talk to him. He's very respectful, well-mannered kid, and certainly a fine football player. Came down to Auburn. Moody won the Auburn 7-on-7 passing tournament back in June.
Did.
Badass little team there. Amon Lane went off. I know Brian Harston made a point to pull him to the side. So he's a very, very highly regarded and highly coveted player.
Yep.
And he's a better person, too.
And an even better person. Absolutely, Bo.
Yes, sir.
All right, Bo, we're going to write that down.
Texas and the Bammers. I think Texas is going to beat Bama, man.
Shit. I got 50 that says
I
you're
really
wrong.
do. I mean, it ain't gonna be no bad beat, but it's gonna be a beat.
Bo, I'll give you 20 points.
I don't think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a field goal, bro.
But I'll give you Texas and 20 points.
I don't think so, man.
Bo,
you remember?
Let me ask you a question.
What's the line on that, Zach?
Got y'all.
What is the line?
We're about to get it. We're about to get it to you.
Can you tell me who Texas's starting quarterback is going to be?
It's gonna be Archie.
Who?
Brother, Arch ain't there yet. He's in the recruiting class.
Bo, my bet's now 100. I'm just messing with you, Bo.
I don't know. I don't know. But
I tell you, I don't either.
He's gonna turn that place around, man.
You really like Sarkisian that much?
I really do.
Huh.
Well,
yeah.
Bo, I'll tell you that Texas struggled against Big 12 competition last year. The Big 12 is, and I'm not trying to take shots here at anybody, but other than Baylor defensively, there's not a team that I would stack that can compete defensively in the SEC that plays in the Big 12.
I'll tell you what, Bo, if it happened, it'll shock the world, and I'm giving you all the credit.
Zach, what you got on the line?
And I'm
15.
I'm the number one Auburn fan.
Bama's a 15-point favorite.
On the road, right?
On the road.
15.
15.
And I'll give you 20.
I'll take Bama minus 15 on that one.
I'll take Bama minus 35.
He's crazy, JD.
I'm telling you, listen.
Get him, Bo.
you're going to be starting. Texas is going to be starting a quarterback that has never started and/or played any more than one snap in a game versus Alabama's defense.
Will Anderson.
Will Anderson is about to get off.
Should have won the Heisman.
Ain't that Gary Anderson's or Willie Anderson's son or
No.
nephew?
Unfortunately, not. I wish it were. It probably would have worked out better for this recruitment.
I could have swore I read that in something.
But we're gonna be expecting your call on September the 6th.
Oh yeah. I may eat crow, but
that'd be all right. Hey, I like it, Bo. Any Auburn fan should be expecting an Alabama.
Hey, we talk about taking deep shots. That's a deep shot right there.
I think we're going to beat Bama this year.
That's another one.
Bro, that's not a deep shot. That's balls in the center of the table, man.
Bo got started early tonight. I hear you, Bo.
Hey,
bro, I love you, though, man.
Yeah. I hear you.
You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh. Yeah. Hey, Bo ran the wrong way in what, 84?
85.
Tank ran out of bounds in 21.
Oh no, don't go there.
Don't do it, Jay Lee. Don't do it.
Alabama's a 13.5-point favorite over Auburn right now.
Damn.
I don't care, man.
So that means Auburn is better than Texas.
World, we're gonna put it on everybody, man. I'm trying to tell everybody, man.
Get fired up, Bo. God bless America. I'm about ready to run through this cheat rock wall.
One more thing. Let's hear it.
Brian Harsin, he's the man.
All right. I like it.
Because we got rid of the weak links on our team, and the ones that wanted to stay around and do the work, they're there.
I like it. I agree with you. I think maybe 20 years, you're either going to look back at this guy and say he never belonged here, and I can't believe he stayed here for 2 years, or you're going to say he was out there with the stadium. You're going to look back and talk about these early morning workouts and all the stuff that people are talking about, and the weeding out of the week. And it's either going to be a big hit or a big miss. Some people think it's a big hit. Some people think it's a big miss. We'll find out. Zach, what you got? Hey, Bo. Hey, thank you for calling, big dog. I appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
All right, I appreciate y'all, man. War Damn Eagle.
All right, big dog. Last call.
Last caller here. 205, you're live. Who are we talking to?
This is Bo's Great.
Hey,
Boise.
How you doing?
What's going on, guys?
Hell yeah, the show is complete. What a great finale for the fans. Bo is Great is an epic message boarder. Now, I don't know if that's something to be proud of, but it's something, isn't it, Bo?
I do this. I want to know what the other Bo was drinking tonight, guys. That's what we need to be on there.
I'm telling you, buddy, listen, we're all gonna have a drink of that.
Hey, over at Moody, man, you never know what they're sipping on over there.
You're gonna remember Bo from Moody. By God.
Little stump
Moody's got it going on too.
Bo, correct me if I'm wrong, Zach, but Bo from Moody and Bo is Great had the same area code.
Yes.
Hey, Bo is Great. Let me ask you, where'd you go to high school?
Me?
Yeah.
I can't help myself.
There you go. Don't do it.
Hold on. You can't. I thought we went to the same high school.
Well, I didn't go anywhere as illustrious as Minor High School.
That's what I thought. Yeah, you was over there. Yeah.
No, hey guys, just tell you, good show, man. Y'all doing a good job.
Thank
you.
I know
it's interesting times, but y'all doing a great job.
Well, we appreciate it.
Thanks for always keeping us accountable too. We appreciate that.
Well, it's an interesting situation. It's going to get more so if we win 8 games this year. It'll be really interesting.
Yeah.
What do you think they're going to, Bo?
I can see a scenario where we win 8 or 9, but and I kind of, I'm a homer and I think that's what we'll do, but I also could see a scenario where we win 4 or 5.
That's fair. That's very fair.
Last year, I really thought the whole season would win 9 or 10 games, regardless of who was the coach. But
let me ask you this: what would you say would be the reason they would go only 4 or 5 wins? why would you think that could happen?
I don't know that we have a receiver yet that can cause people to scheme against him. They can stay in the zone, load up the box, force us to run tank, get us 3 and out, keep us behind the chains, and we can't score.
Fair. Yep.
I don't think the offensive line can road grade enough to make that happen. So, I just don't know what that receiver core is going to do yet.
All right, Bo, that's you're speaking truth to power on that, because if we can't lighten the box this year, we saw so many 7- and 8-man fronts last year, it made me sick because of our inability to go down the field and to have a receiver threat that really threatened teams to get out of, what we were seeing defensive look-wise, and they were just basically overloading the box. Texas A&M was a perfect example of that. I think Cole, I cut you off. Go ahead.
No, I was expecting people to loosen up a little bit. They loaded the box against Malzahn's offense because you take away the run from him and he's done. But still had his recruits on roster, and they said, you know what, let's load the box and see if they can throw it on us. And they haven't been able to do that in the past few years. And there you go. That was trouble.
I think what Malzahn tried to do with the zone made that loading up the box. It looked. I don't know quite how to say it. There was more seams there.
Yeah.
In some of those odd passing schemes that Gus did kind of keep people on swivel. You're afraid to load up too tight. You didn't want to dig your feet in the batter's box because you didn't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. Here's my reasoning for justifying both of your. You can see them winning 8-9 or 4-5. I think justifiable in that the reason Auburn could win 4 or 5, the offense. The reason Auburn could win 8 or 9, the defense. And I think the defense could carry them to 8 or 9 wins. I think the offense, if they can't keep up with others, man, that would be my concern of why they could only win 4 or 5 games or crash for the season. But the defense.
I like that defense. I really think I'm excited about that. I think we can stop some people. And
yeah.
Which is why I think if Zach Calzada.
I don't feel, but
I'm sorry, Bo.
Our chances with that defense.
But I think the defense.
Next year,
8 and 9. I'm sorry.
Woo.
When?
Next year, 2023.
We ain't gonna go there. Last call. All right. Appreciate you, Bo. All right.
Yeah, and Jay Lee, I'm going to parrot you real quick. I think if we only win 4 or 5 games, it's the offense. I think if we win 8 or 9 games, it's the offense.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I was trying to get to that.
The defense is going to be what it is. I think they're going to be steady. And if the offense, like you said, can't produce, I think you're going to see a lot of what you saw last year down the stretch from the defense, in that it's going to basically cause us to be on the field too long. You're going to wear guys out. You're not going to have the ability to keep yourself in games.
Yeah.
Right. The offense can score some points this year, and hopefully from a philosophy standpoint, Coach, we're more on brand this year. We're more on the same page, and that those guys in the slot that I think can be explosive in VAR and Rooster can really take the top off the defense and cause some of those people to move out of the box to a degree. Do we have that true man beater? I just don't know. I mean, I think it depends on how much Shedrick Jackson evolves. What does Coy Moore do? How does Malcolm Johnson Jr. look? What is the guy, our big receiver target out of Atlanta, who I know our wide receiver coach is extremely high on?
Makai Poole?
No. He's on the team. Yeah, he played at Denmark High School. Give me just a second.
Xavier Capers.
Yeah.
Oh, Capers,
I know they're very high on Capers and what he can do potentially in the slot and or at the X.
Yeah.
His maturation is key for this team. So you're right. Do we have a receiver that takes a step forward this year? That is going to be the biggest question mark to me in preseason. If we see that, then I think, like you said, we have a chance of winning 8-9. If we don't see that, it could be rough.
Yeah.
Well, Capers is the guy to do it.
Auburn hopes so, certainly.
Yeah,
he's certainly capable.
I spoke with somebody who would know that said, "Man, that's one of the best NFL talents on the team. Just gotta, he's this close. He's this close."
I mean, also real quick, just to chime in, I think winning close games too could swing us either way. Because last year, you look at Bama, Mississippi State, Penn State, the list goes on and on. There was a lot of one-score games that we didn't come out on top on. So when you're looking at the ceiling and floor, can we figure out how to win those close games?
Just get over that hump, man.
Yeah. Overcoming adversity and momentum are a real thing.
Just winning half of those puts you at what, 8-4 last year?
Yes.
8-4 last year with just 2 of those
wins. Over Bama.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely.
Huge all-season momentum. Huge. But hey, Bo, we appreciate your call, Big Dog. We appreciate your loyalty to the site. If you don't know who Bo is great is, you should, and you will if you go join Auburn Live on 3. It's $1 for a year right now. We want to get out of here, but we want to thank all of our callers tonight, man. Jay Lee's Pinkhead was the leadoff.
Yeah.
Nice leadoff there, Jay Lee's Pinkhead. Big Willie called in. We didn't, and Memes was in there again. We appreciate that. Markwell Beckwich. Awesome call right there. DeMario Austin's trainer called in, gave us a little update on him. Mad Max from the Gump. Good stuff. Cody, Bubba, Pete Flank, Solar Flare. Hogbone. Hogbone. And Bo from Moody, and Bo is great for the finale, man. What a great show. We appreciate everybody, man. We will look for us Thursday on the Shrivel Pod. We'll have the podcast out Thursday afternoon. Look for us there. We'll be back next week, Tuesday night, 6:30 p.m. Central Time on all.
Real quick, sorry, I didn't mean to mess you up there. I got a little article coming out on a 2023 linebacker, so be ready for that in the next 20, 30 minutes. On Auburn Live.
Making me stay up late, Cole.
Yeah. Sorry, I messed up your rhythm there, Jeffrey.
Look at him. He just same look.
You gotta stay in your lane, Big Dog. Bo's great finale. Zach McKinnell, thank you so much. For Jhead and for Zach, fuck Cole. I'm Jay Lee, man. We'll see you.